Hey, Dave here. This is the video for the bonus, the one-day sale trick. This is one of the most powerful things I've learned to use every single time I sell a property, especially land, because undeveloped land usually leaves a huge unknown for neighbors about what could possibly happen there with a future neighbor or buyer. And so this is the easiest thing to do, and it doesn't take much time, and it works often enough to have a whole section on it, and often enough to try it every single time you sell a piece of property, a piece of land to be specific. And in the training, again, this is not a replacement for the training. If you haven't gone through the text or audio, do that first, please, and return to the video. But in the training, I talk about making a list of the neighbors first, and we have two ways to do that. That's via the tool that I love to use. It makes it so easy, the ID.land website, or the county website, where the information is public, to find the neighbor names and mailing addresses. And I want to make it clear that we're looking for the mailing address, because usually if it's in an undeveloped area, the lots will not have a full address a lot of times, and even if they do, to be able to attach that address to the homeowner to find their contact details, you're going to want to be looking at where they actually live, and not the address of the property itself, since it's usually vacant. So we're looking for the mailing address, and that's all public information. Okay, so let's start with ID.land. This is the website. Once you log in, they do have a 7-day free trial with no card on file required. Very convenient. Plenty of time to do what you need to do to be able to get it done. And let's see here. It looks like I disappeared for a minute. So let's look at just a random area. I'll pull up. Let's do an actual example. Let's find some land for sale. Let's try Tennessee, maybe. Here's one for sale. Townsend, Tennessee. So let's find the address. Let's paste it in here. There it is. It's popping up. Very cool. Looks like a pretty undeveloped area, and I like to look at aerial to be clear. Yeah, sure enough, pretty undeveloped. All right, let's zoom out a little bit, and as we can see, there's a lot of neighbors. This one's touching it. This one's touching his property. This one's touching his property. This one's across. These two are across the streets. These are going to be our best, and this one's touching it. So these are going to be our best bets, are the ones that are immediately touching it. And then obviously, of course, you want to start going outward at least a little bit, because you never know what people's plans are in this area. Maybe this person's already thinking about buying this person's lot, and now they have an additional one to think about adding onto their portfolio. So it's always good to start with the ones touching, but it's never a bad idea to keep going outward a bit, because this might be the easiest way to sell your property quickly. So if I look at the neighbors, I have a Kenneth here, who actually owns this lot here too. So he may be very motivated to purchase, as he's already a multiple parcel owner in this neighborhood. So if I click on Mr. Hobbs, I can see his mailing address here. So I would copy that. I would use this land tracker here, landowner tracker here, copy his name, his mailing address there, and then I would go ahead and move on to the next one. So in this case, Bryce, mailing address, and then I would look up the next one. It's a company, a little bit more complicated in finding the contact details for a company, but you can also try that as well. Sometimes it's worth Googling them and seeing. So it's in Mississippi, and try to find their contact details that way. Never hurts. And then we have the same company actually, so this might be a good buyer as well. So you make a list. I provided you with a tracker, so you can first do that, so you don't get too you don't lose track of where you stopped, where you started. So make that full list. Try to get everybody touching, and everybody maybe touching those as many as possible. The more, the better. But at the least, like I said, who's touching. Then our goal is to find their contact details. But I'll also show you an example of using the county. So I haven't done this area yet, so this will be a good example for finding it. So let's start with city or town and location. So county name, Blount, county, Blount, county, Tennessee, property. I like to do appraiser. All right, here we go. We found the property assessor websites. So now we got to find where the search is. So if this didn't come up easily, we can just property search. Okay, this looks correct. Looks like they have one combined source for the state, and then you select the county. A lot of states will have a separate one for each county. And then search will be probably the address. Let's go find that address. So in this case, we'll try Kenneth, Mr. Kenneth. Oh, I'm sorry, we're finding the property itself. So that was, I think it was this one. Nope. I confused my own self. I think it was Eugene. Let's just go with this one. Let's assume that it's this one. Which is 1970 Cars Creek Road. 1970. And the name is, looking for a Kenneth Eugene. Right here, 1970 view. So here's the property coming up. I'm not sure this is the one I started with. I already lost track. But this is an example of how to find the property, the same property that we're looking at in land.id, but in the actual county. And the goal is to bring up the map. So we're looking for the map view, which is right here. So every county website or state website will have a different process for locating that. Not sure why I disappeared here, but you're looking at a picture of a dog now, no problem. So here we have the map, and now you can see the parcels around it that are touching it, right? I think this was the original one we might have been looking at. But as you click on it, you can see the owner's name, and then you can click on the parcel and then find the address for each one. Boom, assessment data, and the mailing address of each one. So this is the other way. It's free. It's a little different for each county, but it works on a foundational level the same way. So the interface will be different for every county. The process of finding the map will be a little different, but overall it's basically the same process. All right, now that we know how to find the actual neighbors, their names, and their mailing addresses, the next step is to locate their contact details. That's where this free, amazing website called Fast People Search comes in handy. So let's head over there now. We can go by a few ways, like the name, city, state, or zip code. Or the full address. So I like to check both to see which one might have separate information. But let's start with the address. So we have their mailing address. In this case, we're looking at the Mr. Hobbs. So this goes on this line, and we search. And if you remember, we're looking for a Kenneth Eugene Hobbs and a Jan Elaine, I'm assuming Hobbs as well. So as we can see, Jan came up, and we have the address that we saw that's for sale, or at least a neighbor, I don't remember. And then we have multiple phone numbers. So I like to start with the first ones. It tends to be the most accurate on top, and then it kind of gets worse and worse as you go. You should probably be able to get it with the first three, and it lets you know if it's a mobile or landline. So you're not going to text the landline, of course, but if you text the mobile one, you don't hear back, you can call and keep working your way down. So that's the first one, and then we have Kenneth right afterwards. They probably share some lines, some phone numbers. As you can see, 3571, 3571. So that might be likely accurate. But yeah, and then it goes on and on. And so that's the first way. And then the second way was to do the name and the city, state, and zip code, and then see if the address comes up for it. So we did these. Let's try this one next. Let's go by city, state, and zip, and then Bryce Withrow. Robert Bryce. Let's see the address, 3826. Does that come up here? No, it's unlikely. Well, you know what? Let's be specific, because I didn't put their first and last properly. So let's go with Bryce Withrow. There it is. So you have to be very exact. As you can see, the address is a complete match. And not just that, but look at the property address here. 1973, Cars Creek. They don't have that here, but they see 1970 comes up, so it's probably the right person. And there we go. We have phone numbers. And then we also want to focus on emails, because sometimes you may not get them through on the phone, but you might get them on email. So if you click into the actual contact, you should be able to come up with a few emails that you can try as well. And that's it. You make your list, you save it, and then you outreach to everyone all at once. It's easy to do text and email quickly, and then if they don't pick, because it's less intrusive as well than a call, I would say. And then if that doesn't work, you can go ahead and call them all, or just start with the call if you want to get straight to it and avoid wasting any time. But that's it. It's as easy as that. Step one, make a list of all the owners. Step two, make a list of their names and emails, top three for each. Step four, call, SMS, and email. And hopefully that's enough for you to get a legitimate offer that's ready to move forward. And you can avoid literally the whole process of selling, because you're selling to the most motivated person who is least likely to negotiate and lowball, because they have the highest incentive to purchase, because they want to expand their existing lots or protect their home from having neighbors building on it, and having privacy for the long term. All right. If you have any questions, comment down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.